Once upon a time, the Jewish community comprised one-third of the population of the village of Vilkhivtsi. The synagogue was at the center of their lives. Since, the building has been out of use for a long time and fallen into the state of disrepair. Today, the building has received a chance for a new life.
The Vilkhivtsi Synagogue is one of the oldest synagogues in Ukraine. The synagogue was established around 1705. For centuries, hundreds of Jews from Vilkhivtsi and the neighboring villages worshipped there every Sabbath.
Remarkable and historically significant, the synagogue is the oldest in our community, the oldest in Zakarpattia, and one of the oldest in Ukraine.
Jewish residents greatly contributed towards the economic development of the area. There were many craftsmen and merchants among them. They paid special attention to educated children, and the synagogue played a huge role in that process.
The seniors in the village are sharing interesting stories about the Jewish people. How, for example, the men and women worshipped separately in the synagogue.
After the mass deportation and killing of Zakarpattia Jews by the Nazis, the Soviet government turned the sanctuary into a village mill. In the 90s, the building had been used as a storage facility. In the last couple of decades, the building has been abandoned. Despite it all, in the middle of the prayer room, on the ceiling, as if miraculously, were preserved the unique painting with the branches of olive tree and the Star of David. This year, thankfully, the building has received a chance to be restored.
It all started with an academic conference that took place in the summer of 2019 in Uzhhorod. As a part of the conference, its attendees visited Vilkhivtsi too. There were Jewish people from Canada, Israel, the United States, and Romania. They came to see what kind of synagogue it is and performed a prayer there. We told them that the synagogue was in a state of disrepair and needed renovation. And former Jewish residents of Vilkhivtsi became interested in this project.
Heritage Springs, Inc., a United States non-profit organization, undertook that synagogue restoration project. The organization was founded by the Jews from Vilkhivtsi and their descendants. Over time, a local non-profit organization with the same name was formed in Vilkhivtsi, and now it holds the title to the building. We reached out to the board of trustees of the organization to learn more about its plans.
The non-profit organization Heritage Springs, Inc. was founded by the Jewish people with Vilkhivtsi ancestry to preserve old houses of worship, cemeteries, and settlements in Eastern and Central Europe. Even before the organization's founding, this group of people had already done significant work in Zakarpattia, since about 20 cemeteries had been preserved and restored under its tutelage. So, we already have a good experience working in the region. Today, we already have donors from the United States and will continue spreading the word about our work in the United States, Europe, and Israel so that more people can join our project. We also plan to apply for available grants in the US and Europe. Preserving and renovating Vilkhivtsi Synagogue is our foremost priority. Next, we plan to create a museum of Jewish heritage and a Holocaust memorial on its premises.
Thanks to the cooperation between Heritage Springs, Inc. and Vilkhivtsi local government, the reconstruction of the synagogue began in October this year. For the first snow-blanketed Vilkhivtsi, the building crew put a new roof and its supporting structures. Replacing windows and facade is next in line. Interior works will require more attention. The restored synagogue will host a museum of Jewish heritage and a Holocaust memorial. The famous writer and Nobel laureate Elie Wiesel was born in Sighetu, a town 1 hour away from Vilkhivtsi. Representatives of Vilkhivtsi local government and Heritage Springs, Inc. are convinced that the synagogue will become a magnet for tourists in Ukraine, abroad, as well as for the Jewish pilgrim. Until then, local enthusiasts will collect exhibits and continue conducting research.